It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim.
Did you record it?
And Aaron. This week and every week we talk about musicals, but specifically what they have taught us. Well, what have you been up to the last week, Tim?
This is a refreshing change. Please tell me we're recording.
Guys,
are we
I'm still
recording?
here.
Is glad.
Are we actually recording?
Are.
Brilliant.
I was recording and then Lauren just stopped, but you're glad that I bring professionalism to the
Absolutely.
table. Or the sofa in this case.
Now you understand what I have to deal
I'm
with.
sorry, guys. I'm still here.
Oh, hi.
I didn't know if you were recording.
Oh, it's okay when somebody else mucks up the intro, but when you muck up the intro, there's always an excuse.
Right, whatever.
Today there was a
Whatever.
husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there you go. You've always got somebody to fall back on. There you go.
Got my standby,
You can see if hands here.
my swing.
I'm your Oh, you beat me to it.
Oh, sorry.
gonna say
I am impressed, Aaron, with how much you've come on over the last year with your musical theatre knowledge. I mean, you have literally just done a one-man rendition of Hercules,
I know.
I did, unfortunately.
including all. Is it 5? What are they called? They're not the Fates. That's Hades
No, it
Town.
is the Fates.
Is it the Fates?
Yeah, they're the
5 of them.
Fates. Yeah.
Like you were all 5,
Thank you.
and Herc packing
my
his
seat-
what is it? Pack. Oh,
Folks line up just to watch him flex, and his perfect package packs a pair of pretty pecs.
but it's even more impressive when you're like singing it really fast.
I give it stacks.
You
didn't I?
give it stacks.
I mean, I have to update the CV, I think.
So can I just check? We are recording.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you did do that awkward silence.
Yeah. And then,
Whilst we were recording.
yeah, because I didn't know if we were recording.
Okay.
And
I
ran
didn't
from stage
feel-
left.
Yeah.
Do you know? I was thinking as we were coming into this episode, do people think or know that we record that intro live every single episode? But now they do.
Yeah. No, they do. But that's what Jen had said. She was like, "Do you record that live every week?"
I
And we
know.
were like, yeah.
Because I think we do pretty similar most weeks.
I mean, it's all our professional training. We're just
Some
good at-
people's professional
Oh,
training,
shut
well, some have more
up.
professional training than others. Some just blank and look at their executive producer,
Well,
as in it's their fault.
no.
Curtain call.
You didn't hit the
No,
record.
I'm sorry. I am deaf and I did not hear recording. I did not hear that,
What?
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 which means he didn't say it.
He did. Well, I knew to start.
No, I think you just say it like you
Like
just
any
come.
professional.
Oh, what I practice it before we go.
I counted you in.
Honest to goodness.
Okay, whatever.
Right, we're tangenting.
We are.
Very quickly before we get into today's musical, because I am living the dream this week.
What are you doing?
No. I mean, the musical we're talking
Oh,
about
right,
this
okay,
week.
yes, yes.
I am like proper. I'm geeking out this
I know.
week.
I know.
You saw Wicked
Yes.
on tour.
Yes.
At the weekend.
Yes.
And?
In Dublin.
The board gosh.
It was fantastic. I have not seen it since the first time I've seen it. Mm-hmm. So it's... What? Why is that funny? I have not... As in, I've only seen it
Once before.
once before.
All
there,
right, okay.
there we go.
It sounded a wee bit like I haven't. This is the first time I've seen it since the last time I've seen it. All right, yeah, I get you.
Sorry, I went like... The last time I seen it was in Dina Menzel and Adam Garcia in the Apollo Theatre in London.
Name drop.
When it first came to London, okay?
I saw it then too. Not with you, but I saw them.
Yes.
I think.
So, but you've seen it many times since then.
Yeah.
'Cause I
I've
thought
got a
I
bit
had seen-
a bit bored of it, to be honest.
Well, I thought I had seen Zoe, and I don't think I have, or if I have, then I haven't seen it since Zoe.
Okay.
Was in it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's been a long time.
And does it feel different from Apollo Theatre to touring
I-
production?
It felt now my memory is good sometimes, but I felt that there was certain things they changed slightly. So I was like, oh, that's not how I remember it. Yes, it did feel different, but it was fantastic. We also seen the understudy for Glinda.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the girl that is playing Glinda, and she actually, I think it's Sarah O'Connor.
So Sarah O'Connor.
In Panto.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. I've seen her, and I'm sure but the girl that we seen was unbelievable.
Okay,
and
cool.
I'm like, oh my goodness,
Do you know her name?
I can't remember. Melissa, I think. Gordon, I think. I could have made that up. And she was like unbelievable, where I was like, that is your role. So it's a shame that we didn't see Sarah.
Yeah. Just
because I know that she's very good.
Yeah,
but
that's her home venue, isn't it?
Lauren Pick that we sing.
Pickard.
As Elphaba, and she was great.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
And did she do the whole...
Yeah, and I love some of her ups and her downs and her... Oh, it was brilliant.
And we've talked about it before. We prefer No Good Deed to Defying Gravity. Yes. And do we still feel the same?
Yes, absolutely. It was so good. Actually, goosebumps. And
that was probably... season 1 we did, Wicked, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that feels like last week we were talking about it.
That was also the first time that I have seen professional singers sing for good since Mummy's funeral.
Okay.
I struggled.
Oh, bless you.
And I struggled a lot.
Yeah.
But I was with our wonderful friend Gillian. She had got me and the kids tickets.
She'll have given you a wee squeeze.
And it was lovely. And I do think if I had been with Caitlin, my sister, I probably would have completely lost it and not been able to control myself.
Yeah.
But it was from the tears.
Yeah.
It was lovely, and it was such a lovely moment as well. You know, like, I think I've forgotten how that song is really needed in Wicked. You know, when you just listen to the cast recording. Sometimes it takes you to watch stuff.
Yeah, and songs like that from Wicked you can just place anywhere.
Yes.
In life, it doesn't even need to be in the context of that show. It's just a really beautifully written song. Well done, Stephen Schwartz.
I know. So, it was great, and the kids had a ball, and as we knew, they would love it. But they, goosebumps. This is our new favourite musical. You know, it was great.
Isn't that so lovely? Though they're starting to experience like new shows and stuff.
I love it. But we'd seen 2, and I feel like this is the only way I can see a musical now. Is I need to see 2 like back to back, because we've seen Shrek and then we did Wicked.
I bumped into you in Shrek. It was good too.
But I feel, and also there has to be a theme.
Green.
So green, and then obviously we seen Chitty one week, and then we went and seen a movie musical the night before we seen Back to the Future, and then Chitty and obviously Back to the Future had the connection. I just feel like I need to have...
Okay, I'm getting a sore head here. There's too many connections.
But anyway, yes, that was lovely. It was another wonderful musical-filled weekend, and life should just be filled with musicals.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I have a wonderfully gorgeous connection to this week's musical. Do you? Have you ever done it?
No.
Oh my goodness.
No, I know because you've talked about it loads.
Yeah, don't shut up about it. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I think I have gone on and on and on about this musical right from the conception of this podcast.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we do this musical this week? And we haven't done it until now.
But then,
so I appreciated it. However, it took me to go and see it in London before you agreed to it. Yeah. You had to give in eventually, did you? Why were you dragging your heels on doing this musical in the podcast, Lauren? Just wanted to check.
I don't love it as much as you do.
This upsets me greatly. Aaron, are you free?
I'm free.
Okay, so we'll just cut the mic to Lauren, and he's back in the room.
How often has she said this about a musical that you like, that she goes, I don't love it as much as you?
But I don't love it as much as Timothy. I think it's a good musical, I've never seen it on stage. I've
Well-
only ever seen the film.
Sorry, 1 second. You don't love it as much as Timothy, yet you've never experienced it on stage.
Live.
I mean, there's plenty of musicals.
But here's the thing. You haven't experienced it with Imelda Staunton
No.
playing the title role,
No.
Hello, Dolly.
No.
And that's what we're going to talk about this week.
It is. Hello,
And this
Dolly.
episode will be 3 hours long. I'm joking. I will limit my gushing to the bare minimum
So
for this evening because it's getting late. Can I just say,
What?
tangent, I know, but I'll say it now. The view from your living room window is beautiful at night.
I know.
Gorgeous. We just had red sky, and the red sky is now gone, and it's like a wee grey, yellowy, hazy, nice
This
loveliness.
is my favourite. I see this place where we live, this road at night time is my real comfort.
There
Because
you
all
go.
the sounds, the views, everything, I love it at night.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Anyway.
beautiful. Do you know what I loved? The sounds, the views. Hello, Dolly, live in the London Palladium with Imelda Staunton playing Hello, Dolly.
Okay, so this week's musical is Hello, Dolly. And
Did you not get that?
no, you went to see this when we were seeing Back to the Future.
Yes, so we've done Back to the Future. Now is the time to
Now.
talk about Hello, Dolly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was something you were like, we mentioned it, remember, about how she was meant to do it.
Yes.
But then COVID hit.
Yes.
And you said, like, wouldn't she just make an amazing Dolly
She was
Levi?
born to play Dolly.
Like, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
And then what? Like everything with this podcast 3 weeks later or something,
Yeah.
the producers were like, we're doing it.
Yeah, finally, eventually, yeah. So COVID happened, and then COVID wasn't happening, and then I think her filming for The Crown then got in the way, but then finally, thank goodness, Michael Harrison, the producer, then got it onto the stage.
Yeah.
And it was sublime. Now, going to it, I thought it was going to be a carbon copy of the Broadway
Okay.
production, but it wasn't
No.
at all. Which was also really fresh and wonderful to know. And I just presumed I was going to see the version that Bette Midler had done in Broadway, but no, they changed it and they added in songs that weren't in the Broadway production. And it had it had such a different feel to any Dolly I'd ever seen before.
But then she's wonderful.
She is insane, but Lauren, it wasn't just her.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it out there and probably say it's probably the best stage musical I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. Because she was outstanding.
Okay.
But I have never seen a production of that quality. The cast, what the creatives had done to it, what it looked like, the fact that the orchestra was a full orchestra. It just was wow from start to finish. And you just left going, okay, that was musical theatre, but that was musical theatre on a completely different level
Wow.
than I've seen, like I think I've ever seen.
Wow. That's amazing.
It just felt like you were seeing something that you might never see again. And I don't think I've ever had that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I've ever left a theatre going, I don't think I'm going to see anything like that ever again. And I will be amazed if I ever do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fab.
So there we go. Waxing lyrical about it is
Okay.
over, or else I'll be here for the rest of the night.
I love it.
But yeah, it was truly special. And it filled my heart.
What I want to say is your dad went to see it.
He did.
And what did he think of it?
Exactly the same.
Okay, amazing. Interesting.
Exactly the same. Yeah. And he was very good in that he said nothing.
Yes, until you'd
Because
seen
he's
it.
obviously... my dad tends to see shows that I really want to see before me. Yes. I think it's just to grind my gears, to be quite honest with you. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He does it on purpose. But yeah, it was worth the wait, 1,000%. And it's also one of those, you know the way when you go and see a show that you really love, you're like, I want to go back and see it again.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like that about this.
Okay.
Because I've gone, that was so amazing. I don't know if I would want to see it again with a different cast, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything about it was just so, in my opinion, perfect.
Brilliant.
That I'm happy that I can lock
satisfied.
that into my
Yeah.
head and I'll never forget it and for the rest of my life. And I
Brilliant.
don't think I need to see, I don't need to see that same production with another Dolly. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Like, I do think it will come out when their contracts end.
It's
Do you know
only
what I
like 2
mean?
weeks
It was
left or
a
something, isn't it?
limited, what do they call that? Limited run,
run,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Yeah. But anyway, Hello Dolly, Jerry Herman's first big success and arguably the most famous show. But it was actually originally called Dolly the Damned Exasperating Woman.
Yes.
And I mean, what a title, right?
I know.
But
I
very,
actually really love that title.
it doesn't quite have the ring, does it? Do you know what I mean?
No.
And exasperating is the perfect word to describe this show because it was exactly that.
Okay.
It was absolutely riddled with hurdles. Like, there's no show that had more hardship or more battles to fight than this one in its conception.
Mm-hmm.
The producer, David Merrick, wanted Bob Merrill. This is really confusing because the two names are so similar.
Okay.
Merrick and Merrill.
Okay.
So the producer, David Merrick, wanted Bob Merrill to compose. Merrill refused to work with Merrick's choice of director.
Oh my
So then
gosh.
Jerry Herman was brought on board.
Okay.
The out-of-town tryouts were a difficult process. Herman had written songs for Ethel Merman because they wanted
Yes.
Ethel Merman to play Dolly. And she turned him down.
I know.
So then Merman was replaced by the more than able Carol Channing. But then Herman had to rewrite some of the songs in a lower key to suit Channing's voice.
Yeah.
So already you're like,
Yeah.
this isn't gonna ever make it to the stage, is it? But the most notorious failure is actually attached to the musical film version in 1969. Starring Barbra Streisand. But
And Walter Matthau.
yes, him. It was one of the most expensive flops to date, and also is widely credited with the temporary killing off of movie musical genre.
Yeah. So I read
Which
this.
blows my mind. I'm
Which
like,
I read this
what?
too. So I think it's because Barbra Streisand was cast as Dolly, and arguably she was too young.
She even said it. She knew that she was really too young and she asked to be replaced.
Yeah.
And they said no. And when her request was refused, Streisand then asked Herman to write 2 additional songs.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He obliged and he wrote Just Leave Everything to Me, which I actually love. It's one of the good, really good songs.
Yeah.
It was a flop because it lost so much money.
Because
Like, the backers apparently all lost an estimate of $10 million.
because I think it goes back to your casting is so important, especially around this story. She's meant to have been, she's a widow, and not to saying that that you have to be old to be widowed, not at all, but it's just the way that her entrance back into life after everything that's gone on at the beginning of Hello Dolly, it just feels like it should be an older woman, and Barbara was just too young.
I know, but how good is she as in
she's
the role?
good, but I just don't think it was a good backing.
Babs, you're blaming Babs for the failure of this movie musical. Anyway,
Yeah.
interestingly, something I didn't know, even though I loved this show, Hello Dolly is actually a musicalization of Thornton Wilder's play, The Matchmaker.
Yes. Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And it didn't keep that awful title that I said at the beginning, Dolly the Damned Exasperating Woman, for long. Its new and catchy title for the show came when Louis Armstrong had a hit in the charts with his song, Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly. And lovely that Louis Armstrong then also made a wee cameo appearance in the 1969 film, which I thought that was a nice wee tip of the hat.
Absolutely. It's also based on the 1938 farce, The Merchant of Yonkers.
Yes.
Which is then turned into the 1954 version, The Matchmaker.
Yeah. So. That's the thing. It's had so many rewrites or adaptations, doesn't it? That actually, for the final adaptation to be as funny and witty and quick and entertaining as it is, fair dues. Because it could have ended up a mess.
Yeah, it could have,
On paper, as a script, it could have been a mess, really. Yeah. The stage show opened in Broadway St. James's Theatre in January 1964 and was a great hit and won rave reviews, notching up 2,844 performances and winning a then record number of 10 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical for Michael Stewart, and Best Leading Actress for Carol Channing.
And Carol Channing.
Ethel Merman who?
I know. So, Hello, Dolly is really associated with Carol.
Yeah.
And very beloved that role is.
Hello, Dolly. That was a good Carol.
Good.
I've practiced all week for this episode.
That actually was a very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. And people have a real connection to that original cast recording. And the original cast recording was put into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2002.
Oh, nice.
It's so lovely for a musical.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a musical back in the 60s.
But I do think Jerry Herman did wonders with the songs in this show are brilliant, really brilliant and iconic. They are iconic.
But most of his songs are. You think of Me and you think of La Cage.
Yeah.
You've got some absolute belters there, which whether you knew it was from a musical or not, you've probably heard of some of those songs, or they've been used
1,000%.
Or they've been used in whatever. And then that book, obviously the book by Michael Stewart, you've got 42nd Street and Mac and Mabel.
Yeah. You've got good people.
Again, you've got people that have a good wealth of experience behind them.
Yeah.
And they've then created a classic.
And do you know what? I'm just glad it did make it to Broadway with all, winning all of those Tony Awards, because on the road to Broadway, it was paved with bad reviews.
It was, yeah. Critics didn't love it.
One quipped, "Goodbye, Dolly. You see if I ever made a punch a sugar in the nose." And Merrick then kind of had a bit of a strop and stormed and threatened to close the show before it reached New York. And thankfully, Jerry Herman went,
"It's okay.
Over my dead body." Yeah. But it's the story of the matchmaker, Dolly Levi. She misses her late husband, Ephraim. I love the bit in the musical where she just stops and looks out and talks to Ephraim, because she decides that she wants to move on with her life and she wants to marry the wealthy Horace Van de Gelder. You might find her go into what's that accent every so often.
Okay.
He, however, becomes convinced that her aim is to matchmake and have him marry somebody else, but in fact, she's making sure he's not going to marry anybody else, because Dolly's determined not to let Horace get away. She wants him for herself.
The $500,000.
The $500,000, that's right. So there you go. That's the story of Dolly.
Yeah. And
Lauren hates it.
No, I don't hate it. I know
from your face, Lauren. You're looking at me. It's almost like you kind of look over the mic at me going, Here we go.
I do not hate Hello, Dolly, but it is not one that I would sit down and listen to. I would not have it on repeat. There's some songs that I like in it.
It only takes a moment. That's iconic. I love it. Okay. Michael Crawford.
Well,
amazing.
I like the film.
Yeah.
I do think that Barbara, as wonderful as Barbara is, I do think she's too young.
Oh no, she is. Babs, Babs herself knew she was too young.
I do think that she is too young.
Anyway.
But just remember, a couple of episodes ago, I had said I will bring something up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So remember we talked about a little person?
This was in Mean Girls we were talking,
yes.
Wasn't it?
So Mean Girls, the music is by Jeff Richmond.
Yeah.
Who's Tina Fey's husband.
Yes.
Well, he has just finished in 2023. He played Horace Van de Gelder.
Horace Van de Gelder.
So I was like, look, there was a little connection to something coming up.
The world of music theatre is so small, Lauren, so small. Did you learn anything? No? Okay, so I
learned quite a lot. I did learn quite a lot.
I'm so glad, considering you've never seen it live on stage.
I mean, also Hello Dolly is one of those ones that my mum would have watched a lot.
See, because your mother had good taste.
And would have had, like, the album on. So I do know the songs, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen it on stage.
Yeah, fair. What did you learn? Other than Barbara was too young. You've mentioned it 4 times.
Have I? In Call on Dolly, don't forget to bring your maiden aunts.
Yes.
I think it was the first time I understood about, some people not getting married and then they'll just be like the maidens in the family.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I learned that.
Yeah. That idea of matchmakers. Like the only other time I'd heard of a matchmaker was Fiddler, and when I first heard it, I thought they were singing about a packet of matches.
Yeah, matchstick makers.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly.
And I actually had to look this up because I originally thought Hello Dolly was a Jewish
interesting
film or Jewish story, because matchmakers and yentas and all of that are all obviously Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
But it's not actually.
No,
it's not, even though her husband was Jewish.
Yeah.
It's not actually. She's not Jewish.
No. And for centuries, matchmakers were the ultimate social engineers. Mm-hmm. And then you look at things like Bridgerton, like all those programs, and you're like, okay, I get it. They would have been employed to arrange would have been employed by the parents to arrange a suitable spouse for their offspring. Yeah. And that's Dolly, and like it's hilarious. Like she's constantly handing out her cards. Dolly Levi, I'll sort it out for you.
Yeah, and I love in Dolly how she mentions that, like her hands and everything.
Yeah,
and she's like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and and it really sort of sets you up for understanding. There's more going on here. Yeah, like yes, she's maybe being employed to get a matchmaker, but she's got another motive.
But she's quite she's quite clear. Like I am going to marry Horace Van de Gelder. But she just wants to have a sign from Ephraim to say that it's okay, that she can move on with her life. It's beautiful. It's got such heart. From such a funny, musical. It also has such heart. In the song "It Takes a Woman," which is probably the most misogynistic musical theatre number you will ever hear in your life, completely of its time. Yes. It's horrendous gentlemen's opinions of women in this song. They sing, "It takes a woman all powdered in pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink, and it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft Dresden fingers for dumping the ashes." And that is just one verse. It then goes on to have many other verses about all of these jobs that women are supposed to do, like horrendous. Yeah. But that soft Dresden fingers interested me. So what are soft Dresden fingers? What did you think the reference was to? So,
according to my research, it is porcelain.
Yes, like soft, delicate, fine porcelain.
Yeah, so Dresden is porcelain, which is produced in Dresden in Germany.
Oh, sure.
And it...
Not China.
started in 1870s.
Yeah, so just saying that the women are pristine and fragile and honest to goodness. They also sing about women are for washing and bluing and shoeing the mare.
Yes.
So did Did you get this one?
I got this one too.
The bluing bit.
The bluing bit.
Yeah, so it was like blue dye that enhances the natural colour.
So bluing, or sometimes called dolly blue,
Okay.
or sometimes called washing blue, is a household product used to improve the appearance of textiles, especially white fabrics. It's a pH balancer that was commonly used in the 19th century as a way to brighten your whites. And I don't know why, but one of my lovely core memories of your mummy is how she was so house proud.
Yeah.
And I was doing this research, and I swear your mum was like, how did you not know what bluing was? I just felt...
Seriously?
The weirdest feeling came over me that was your mummy going, Lauren, you should know what bluing is. How weird is that? So much so I looked it up to see if I could buy some. And it's okay, I'm going to buy some. It's on Amazon, and it's called Mrs. Stewart's Concentrated Liquid Bluing. And apparently it's a game changer. And it's only £15. I don't know what it was.
Isn't that freaky,
like
Lauren?
The weirdest thing.
What?
Where I was like, I need to start adding bluing to my whites. I can't describe it, explain it, anything.
What does this podcast do to us?
Telling me I needed to know what bluing was.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Do you know what I thought? This is how different we are, right? When I was thinking, blue dye to enhance natural colour. You know the way there's that trend now with like teeth whitening, you get that like that purple bluey paste that then when you put it on your teeth and when you take it off, it hasn't done anything to the teeth, but it just makes your teeth look
like
whiter.
Out, yellow.
So that's what I thought when I was researching what bluing was.
Well, obviously you were being shouted at.
True, yeah. They also sing about weaving the Guernsey.
Yes.
And I didn't know what that was. Now, a Guernsey, from my research, is a seaman's knitted woolen sweater.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love the catchy tunes and insightful discussions on musical lyrical lingo? Why would you not? Now you can reap your fandom. Ooh, we've got fans. And show off your love of all things musical theatre with our exclusive merchandise. Ooh.
From comfy tees,
t-shirts,
mugs to stylish tote bags, we have something for every fan. Our designs are inspired by the show's iconic themes.
Because we are so iconic.
And featured playful quotes, Elphaba, and graphics that will have you humming along.
I will never work again.
Wherever you go.
So head over to our merch store now and start shopping. Spend your money, people. And don't forget to share your pics on our social media using #podcast musical lyrical lingo merch. We love to see our fans rocking our gear.
Yes, we do. Happy shopping. Like from Guernsey?
No, I think Guernsey is the name of the sweater.
Oh, right, okay, like an Aran jumper.
Like weaving the Guernsey, the jumper.
Oh, okay.
I presume. Yeah, a knitted woolen sweater. Now, I would understand if you skipped that song.
Okay.
In the.
I don't skip any songs.
Yes, but it's very outdated, that one. I kind of feel guilty even listening to it, to be honest. However, Van de Gelder's such a great character. Like, he is so of that time, isn't he?
I did also learn in Dolly, we'll go back to that, where she meets a girl with a diffident air.
Yeah.
I didn't know that word diffident meant modest or shy because of a lack of self-confidence.
Oh, there you
go.
See, Dolly solves everything.
There you go.
Everybody needs a dolly in their life. Like, where has Dolly been all my life?
Where has Dolly been?
Well, actually, I did have a dolly in my life. Her name was Veronica Barr, and she was the most amazing dolly.
Oh,
she was my dolly.
Yes. Yeah.
Carrying on.
I also learned my plume at Cosmetic Art.
Yes.
And that is confidence and style.
That's you. You have a plume.
Oh. Confidence and style. Thanks, I'll take it. I don't know if it's true, but I'll take it. One of my favourite songs.
Yeah.
Put on your Sunday
clothes when you feel down and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And I always forget it comes from Hello Dolly. It's one of those ones where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a Hello Dolly song. I learned Brillatine.
Yeah, get out your brilliantine and dime cigars.
And it was the hair grooming softener for men.
That's
which was
right.
created in the turn of the 20th century. I checked on Amazon. They don't have it anymore. So sorry, boys.
And am I right in saying that did come up in another episode in another
it was
musical?
Brill Cream.
Right, okay.
Because I did look to see if they were the same thing, and I don't think because that softens. Brill Cream's like styling.
Yeah.
So
then another lyric in Put On Your Sunday Clothes, and I remember at the time when I did Dolly, I had to go away and research this because I had no idea what the lyric meant, and it's such a random lyric about a stuffed. So basically, Put On Your Sunday Clothes. Cornelius Hackle and Barnaby Tucker, who work in Van de Gelder's shop, they basically are going to put their working robes up hang their working robes up for the day and just go out
kissing
and find a girl. And we won't come home until we've kissed a girl. That's my harmony line, just so you know, because it was with two people. You didn't sing along. And he sings about, but we can go to, New York and we can see the stuffed whale at Barnum's Museum. I was like, I don't understand that. I think it was also before the time of The Greatest Showman.
So you weren't too sure?
Yeah. But it's based on P.T. Barnum's museum act. And did you know this is horrific? And I've just realised I need to get my phone out to read the quote. But in P.T. Barnum's museum, it actually burned down in 1865, hence The Greatest Showman when it burns down, right? But there, and that was about 40 years before Hello Dolly took place, right? And 2 live whales actually died in that incident, right? When you hear this is the report from, this is going to be annoying because I'm not going to be able to find it.
So were those whales that died, were they then taxidermied?
Maybe. And they were put in the museum, is that right? Aaron, you're looking at me. Have you seen these whales?
I have not seen them.
No.
Oh.
Really surprised.
Really surprised. When you hear this, right? So P.T. Barnum's museum actually burnt down in 1865, right? 2 live whales died in the incident, and historians.org describes it. The salt water in the whale's tank started boiling.
Oh.
Someone broke its inch-thick glass wall in the hopes that the cascading water would quench the flames of the fire, right? Instead, the 2 beluga, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Whales captured in Canada only 1 week prior were beached in a scorching floor before plunging to the street below as the building began to collapse. The scene was grisly, but newspapers like the New York Herald recounted the story with glee, peppering the reporting with phrases like boiled whale. The carcasses lay rotting for several days on Broadway, far too heavy to dispose of quickly. Isn't that brutal?
The smell.
The poor whales, Lauren.
No, I know the poor whales, but I'm just also thinking about the smell.
Isn't that awful? What a horrific story. You don't want to go like those beluga whales, like, do you?
When you said 2 whales died, I thought it was a really derogatory term for the receptionists. But whenever you said it was belugas, I was...
He's Horace Van de Gelder singing It Takes a Woman.
I sure am.
All powdered
Don't
and
get
pink.
That reference.
Those poor whales, especially if they're only
Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
Who knew that lyric was so horrific?
I know.
So tell me this, I take it, and I've never seen The Greatest Showman, I take it they don't sing a song about the belugas?
No, I actually don't see any
mention them?
belugas
No.
even in the musical.
No, maybe it was too traumatic.
Also, can I just say, tangent will be very brief. We now know that The Greatest Showman is going to be made into a stage musical, but have you ever seen a most horrendous showcase?
What do you mean?
Than the showcase they put on to advertise it or to announce it at that Disney thing? I thought it was atrocious.
The D23?
I thought it was atrocious.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Why?
I was like, come on, guys.
I mean, Hugh Jackman's still going to be attached to it. But
Is he?
Oh, yes. But how long is it going to take?
They need to be. Listen, she'll be doing it when he's like
94.
They won't be complaining about him being too young, that's for sure.
No, they definitely won't. They definitely won't.
Anyway, and do you have any others in Sunday Clothes?
In Sunday Clothes, they mention Delmonico's.
Yeah.
Which is
We'll
still
see
going.
the shows at Delmonico's.
It was originally a rented pastry shop in
Okay.
1827 and was opened by Italian-Swiss immigrant brothers. It is said that at this restaurant that this is where Eggs Benedict was originated.
Isn't
Others
that incredible?
do have claims for that.
Oh,
But there, and also Baked Alaska is meant to have been coined there too, as well as the wedge salad.
I love it's Baked Alaska where the ice cream's in the inside of the meringue. Oh my giddy aunt.
Yeah.
I haven't had Baked Alaska in years. Delicious.
I know it's not fair. It's not like it's on the menu.
I think it's quite difficult though to make, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Well, it's just ice cream and meringue. And
I'll tell you who made a good Baked Alaska. Alner.
Wow.
Yep. They also sing We'll Meet the Astors at Tony Pastor's.
Yes. And what's Tony Pastor?
So Tony Pastor's is an American impresario, variety performer and theatre owner who became one of the leading forces behind American vaudeville. And the Astors are, I know this from the Titanic, J Astor, I think it's J Astor, like one of America's most richest people of that time.
Okay.
And he was on the Titanic and died.
Oh, the, what do you call it? The
J.J. Astor.
J.J. Astor. It was a double J, Tim, for goodness sake.
Is it the...
Same Astors that are in that TV show, The Gilded Age, that you watch? Yeah, I think that's what it's based on.
Oh, is that what
Where
you
the
were going
real
to ask there?
merchants were the real estate
Yeah,
developers.
that's right. So there you go.
Very good, very good. From Elegance, then?
We've got elegance. We do have elegance.
We do.
Built-in elegance.
Savoir
Savoir-faire.
the ability to act or speak appropriately in social situations.
That is correct.
And they also mention J.P. Morgan.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, EP. He was a leading global financier and dominated corporate finance Wall Street.
I think he actually owned the White Star Line, which owned the Titanic as well.
Right.
And
Right.
one of his major competitors was a man called J.J. Astor.
See? So JP Morgan, the Astors, they're all in this musical.
So he was just sort of like the number one person throughout that Gilded Age and should then pop up in season 3 of Gilded Age.
Haven't watched any of Gilded Age. I need to watch it, don't I? Yeah. In Elegance, they also sing Vanderbilt Kowtows to us.
What's that?
Two things. I was like, who's Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt is an American businessman and philanthropist. Thank you. There's some words in life I just can't say. Mm-hmm. And he amassed his fortunes in shipping and railroads. Correct? Aaron, EP is nodding.
Correct.
Kowtows, Kowtows, is the act of subservient manner or bowing down to someone in old Chinese customs. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Oh,
so this song's all about
like
we are so.
No, it's a different language.
So like Elegant is all about Cornelius and Barnaby. They've actually met some women. They've met lovely Irene Malloy and Faye. That's awful. I don't know that other character. And they're basically taking them out, wining and dining them, even though they don't have any money, which also creates absolute pandemonium. Yeah. But they're kind of basically going, oh, we are so elegant that all these really, influential silver spoon people are all like, hobnobbing with us and bowing down to us and all the rest of it. And he sings, and the way I keep my pinky up indubitably proves. Why do people hold their pinky up when they drink?
Hello.
Do you know?
I know. Yeah, my father-in-law actually had, the two of us had a random conversation about this the other day in the bar. Apparently it was a code within the court. By holding your pinky up, it was identifying that you had syphilis. I don't know how true that is, but my father knows.
What?
And if it came from him, it's gospel.
That is the last thing I thought you were going to say.
I mean, I can look it up now and just fact check that, but
Fact check that because I'm not so sure.
Well, I would.
it became. But you think of all those things. You think of like the big wigs. You think of these people. What was that, like Renaissance times, with these big white powder wigs that they wore? That was to hide the effects of syphilis.
Yeah.
So, so they were losing their hair, and then they wore that. Then it became fashionable. So that was a way of a secret code. I'll look at
that. They had syphilis.
Yeah.
Why would they be advertising that fact though?
Probably just warning others. Let me see.
Maybe.
I'll look up origin.
But also indubitably means impossible to doubt. You know. We are elegant for sure.
We are.
Do you know what? I'm just going to say it because people who are listening to this, by the time they hear this episode, they're not going to be able to go and see it anyway.
No.
In Hello Dolly, they had like a treadmill on the stage.
Well, I've done a lot of research on what you went to go and see.
Honest to goodness, Lauren, it was sensational. So this number, Elegant, as they're supposed to be walking to the Harmonian Gardens, they were walking along this treadmill and it literally looked like they were walking along the streets. They had an amazing video wall along the back.
And was the treadmill right in the centre of the stage?
Went from stage right the whole way to stage left. So Imelda Flippin Staunton did her first number, frog marching that treadmill, singing and acting a dream on a treadmill, basically.
Wow.
At what age is she? You can fact check that in a minute too, what age Imelda Staunton is. Like, absolutely outstanding, like unbelievable, and it added so much to it because those wee transition numbers, you know, where they were having to get from one place to the next, it just was so cleverly used. Do you know what I mean? Very clever. Do you have any other musical lyrical
No,
lingos?
they're all my musical lyrical
I've got one more in So Long Dearie. So basically Van de Gelder is basically at the Harmonia Gardens. It doesn't go very well.
No.
And Van de Gelder's like, absolutely not. I'm done with this nonsense. And Dolly's like, okay, stuff you then. See ya. Enjoy your life. Mm-hmm. And actually from that number comes my favourite line in the whole show, because obviously Van de Gelder is rich, half a millionaire, as you say, and all he cares about is money. Like money is his number one. She goes, and in those cold winter nights, Horace, you can snuggle up to your cash register. It's a little lumpy, but it rings. I love that line. Anyway, that's not what I learnt. I'm going to learn the hoochie coo and smoke a cigarette. So basically, Dolly's talking about what she's going to do without Horace. Yeah. And the hoochie coo, do you know what the hoochie coo is?
Is it a dance?
It's a sexually provocative belly-like dance from the mid to late 1800s.
I think we've done that before.
I'm not so sure we have hoochie cooched.
Okay.
Talk for yourself. Anyway, there we go. Did we fact check anything there? No.
I mean, there's a few sources that suggest that there is a connection between having the pinky out when you're drinking, that it is connected to syphilis. Apparently, one of the effects of syphilis is that it inflicts damage upon the joints, particularly those of the finger. So
they couldn't bend it?
So perhaps it wasn't necessarily an indication that
they couldn't help it.
They had it. Maybe it was they were free of it, you know. So.
Oh, okay.
So it's maybe please conduct your own research before taking the.
And do we know what age?
MLL.
And do we know what age Imelda Staunton is?
42.
Lies.
I just plucked the number out of the sky there.
I can't get this.
I am not a reliable source tonight. I am laptop free.
Fair enough. That's it. I haven't ranted and raved too much, have I?
No. And
I'm closing my book. I am so delighted with myself.
Great. So that production that you went to see was due to take place in the Adelphi, but we obviously know a little musical.
Yes,
that was in the Adelphi.
That's right.
So it ended up being in the Palladium, which is a large...
Massive.
So...
And they filled it. My goodness, did they fill it?
68.
No, there was more than 68 in the audience. Imelda 68. That woman at 68 years old doing what she did on the stage that night was unbelievable. She is probably one of the best actresses I've ever seen.
She is absolutely wonderful.
And the thing about it was her dolly was different to any dolly I'd ever seen before. Because take the Hello Dolly number, for example, right? Hello.
Big number.
Yeah, so Dolly returns to the Harmonia Gardens for the first time since the passing of her husband. And normally, in any production or any film, it's a big affair. She arrives and she's like, I'm back, boys. And it's all, hello, Dolly. And she's like, it's big and like brash, right? Not Imelda Staunton. It was almost like she was nervous to be there. It was emotional. It was meeting friends again after the passing of her husband. It was so tender to the point when she came in and like this big sweeping staircase, and she was just so tiny at the top of the staircase because she is tiny, absolutely. And you know, it was very timid to start with, and really measured. And then it grew, obviously. Once she started to get really comfortable back in her surroundings, and, you know, the waiters and all her friends had greeted her back so warmly, then it ended big. But the beginning was just like, what? Like, this is beautiful. Like, it would have brought a tear to your eye. It was just like,
that's nice.
It was like, oh, this is so lovely. She's home. Like, it felt like she was home. It was somewhere that was really important to her, and to be here again, but this time on her own. Yeah. But she wasn't on her own because all her friends were here. It was so
lovely,
special. Like, do you know what I mean? And it was just wee moments like that. Same with Irene Malloy, that was played brilliantly by Jenna Russell. Her song, Ribbons
down my back.
Ribbons Down My Back. At the beginning of that number, I was like, oh, do I like this? Is she going to? Because obviously it's the first time she arrives in, and then she pretty much sings that number straight away when she comes into her hat shop. And I was like, oh, there was something about it that jarred with me initially. And I went, oh, hold on, what's going on? And do you know why it was, Lauren? Because she didn't sing it at you. And any time I've seen that, you know, it's always a beautiful singer who gets cast as Irene Malloy, isn't it? And she sings, I'll be wearing. Do you know what I mean? It's always a big.
Yeah, true.
And Jenna Russell didn't do that. She, you know, it was so, like, talk about acting through song. Yeah. Like, it just had truth and heart to it all. It was just beautifully
Well, that's one of
done.
The notes that I had from the research was that's what a lot of people said, that this was more of a play with music where the focus was on the acting and the heart and
story.
What had happened before you met these characters, not necessarily what you're seeing on stage.
That's it, absolutely.
So yeah, that's interesting that you feel you've seen like perfection almost in that production, and you wouldn't need to see it again, even from apparently the way she's hanging up her morning suit.
Oh my goodness.
You know, at the very beginning, so that you're very clear that he is still a big part in her life, even though she's choosing to go back into society.
Some of the most powerful moments were those scenes where she was clearly at home on her own, and they closed the stage in. It was like she was in a black box, and it just had a window, you know, a large window, and the light came through the window and cast onto the floor. And within there, she had a clothes rail, a like wee dressing room table, and a chair. Like, it was so minimal. But what she did there was unbelievable. And then they put in a song that I had never seen before, and it was basically Dolly singing about him. Do you know what I mean? And it was just beautiful, but like so exposed, because there was no it wasn't the full big Palladium stage. It was brought into like a really small playing space, and it just showed the caliber of her. Like, but they were all brilliant. Like, they were all Ermengarde, or Ermengarde, who cries constantly, Van de Gelder's niece, who just spends the whole show crying. You've never seen crying like it. Genuinely, like she was absolutely hilarious. It was just brilliant.
Oh,
it was brilliant.
So
costumes, oh my goodness, costumes.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the curtain call and some of those costumes.
Were stunning. The choreography, Bill Dreamer is a dream. You just beautiful that dancing number where Dolly teaches Cornelius and Barnaby to dance and then becomes this big dance. It was just unbelievable. Before the parade passes by.
Lovely.
And it was like just an old school parade where you had the teachers and you had the, different groups of society just parading, and they had their banner. And there was no big song nor dance to it. It was a number of marching.
Okay.
But it was just so cleverly staged. The train, when they got on the train, unbelievable. Right, I'm sorry, I've ranted and raved for 3 hours.
I love it. I love it. And I also love seeing or hearing how an old school musical was able to incorporate technology and things that obviously wouldn't have been around whenever they were first casting it, but still keeping a traditional musical.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I've said it before, I think I do have a thing for old school musicals. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do think that's where, when we're talking about musical theatre, I enjoy musical theatre the most. And I don't know why. I think is it maybe just they were exactly. It's what I grew up on. It was those musicals that you were first introduced to. It was those type of musicals that my parents loved. All of that. To the point that sometimes some of the more modern musicals are too modern for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To then go and see class on stage. Real sophistication. It was something I'll never forget.
That's good.
And it's always, it's interesting when you look around and you see the people around you absolutely captivated, leaning forward because they're so enthralled. That also is very special.
Yeah, that's exciting as well.
Yeah. That's when you're seeing something special. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, you talked nice about it. And it's sad that it's only on for...
Nope.
It's
on as long as it needs to be on.
Perfect.
I'm just sorry some people won't get to see it.
Yeah.
Because you missed out. But I didn't. I got to see it.
Could you imagine though if you had missed out? We would never have heard the end of it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever was. I wasn't going to be allowed to miss out on it. No. I think I had gone on about it for so long and talked about it that when the tickets came, when it was announced that it was going to happen, I was told, you have to see that. Mm-hmm. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I listened and I went and I did see, because I don't think I'll forget it ever.
Good. That is so
Before
lovely.
the parade passes by. Oh my God, the music. How could you not love Jerry Herman's music?
Oh,
anyway.
Good. It is good. No, it is good.
We'll do a modern one next week, though.
Okay.
Although we've been modern.
We did modern.
We've been Mean Girls, and we've had a good wee run.
We have. But what I kind of feel sad about is that's our kind of London experience summer over. I feel like we were still sort of holding on to that fab time we had.
Because we had to talk about it still on the pod.
I know, yeah. And now it's it's well and truly over.
What one do we pick next week?
I know, I feel I'm kind of conflicted. What are we going to do? What are we going to talk about?
I literally don't have a title in my head, so you're going to have to make the next decision here.
We're going to have to dig deep here to try and think what we'll talk about. And do you know what the scary thing is? Soon we're going to have to be talking about Christmas musicals.
That's ridiculous.
It's not.
Did we not do all the Christmas musicals last year? Or were there some still left?
Oh, we've got loads.
What did we do last year? Elf and White Christmas. Yeah. Oh, there are a few then.
There are a few. We've got Halloween obviously beforehand, so we've still got some wee.
I would say we've lost about 100 followers just by mentioning the word Christmas.
No, definitely not.
Well,
Definitely.
Come back next week, I promise you.
We will talk about a musical. We're just not too sure what yet.
Yeah, it won't be a Christmas
It
one.
won't.
And, you've listened to us for the last 3 weeks giving our reviews of some of the fantastic musicals that we have seen. So why don't you go on and give us some reviews of the fantastic episodes that you've listened to over the last
You're just so
obviously on our
sweet.
pod, not on other people's podcasts, because that doesn't help us, to be quite honest with you.
No.
Yeah.
Do that.
And if you're wanting a Christmas present, I know she's said that awful word, there's always our merchandise out there.
Always our merchandise.
I mean, who doesn't want a musical lyrical lingo mug for Christmas?
I hear they're crying for them all over the world.
Or a t-shirt.
A t-shirt. Or a bag.
Do we have a wee tote bag on
We
there?
have a wee tote bag.
Stop it. Who doesn't enjoy a tote bag?
Oh, I love a wee tote bag.
Even our guests come to the podcast with tote bags.
I know. For us.
For us. That we missed a trick there. We should have tote bags to give our guests.
We'll do that next time.
That's a good idea. But you could buy your own
You
tote
could.
bags out there.
From a marketing perspective, have you ever priced up the cost of tote bags to get them branded?
But ours are really cheap, isn't
Ours
that
are
right?
really cheap and
Yes, very cheap.
yes.
We pass the savings on to the consumers.
Yes. Looking out for you always.
Always,
Musical
always.
theatre knowledge.
Have we
Savings.
have we done enough of that?
I think so.
Great.
I think so. We're all
Although
good.
we need to record.
We do need to
That
record.
is
I did
honest
take
to
that
goodness.
off.
You see when that comes in every time, I'm like, I was just taking the mickey that day. And then that became our advert for our merchandise.
But also, we're going to need to update our actual advert for the podcast because we're getting so popular that we need to remember to slow down. We're all over the world now, that it's important that in our wee advert we slow down.
Oh my goodness, there could be tote bags all over the world. On that note, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.